Hello. Today we are going to work in our inquiry journal. Remember, for history, our inquiry journal looks like this. Our assignment is to complete page 7, all of it, which is a summarizing organizer. We've been working on this quite a bit in class, how to summarize massive amounts of information. I want to do the very first one with you, letter A, and so that you can understand exactly what the correct answer should look like. We're going to ape these. Remember, we're answering, we're proving with evidence from the text, and then we're explaining our proof. We're going to do letter A together, and then you can continue and do B, C, D, and E by yourself. If you need help reading lesson 2, I've made a video of myself reading it. I'm just straight reading it. I'm going a little bit fast, and if you need help understanding how to slow down videos in YouTube, please let me know in class, because you can control the speed that I read it to go slower or faster. The reason is because the video program I use to make videos only allows 15-minute videos, and so I couldn't get the very last couple paragraphs read within the 15 minutes. And I really didn't want to read any faster than I was already reading. So you'll have to read the last couple paragraphs for yourself, but it does get you through most of the lesson. So let's jump right into it. First question is, what kinds of tools and weapons did the Paleolithic people make? How did they use them? Now, if I haven't read this section, I'm going to be lost. So I need you to pause the video now. And if you would like, by the way, you can go as you read the section through each of these questions to find the answer, because these questions, hold on just a second, let me roll down. All of those questions, except E, A, B, C, and D, they tell you, they go in order of how they're introduced in the lesson. So a little trick that might help you is, as you watch this video, follow along in the lesson. So instead of reading the lesson all the way through and coming back to the video, read the lesson until you find the answer to tools, the tools question, and then pause your reading, do this question with me, continue your reading looking for the next question. All right, let's get into it. What kinds of tools and weapons did Paleolithic people make, and how did they use them? So go ahead and pause this video, find your answer, and come back. So you probably stopped when you got to the bottom of page 15. I hope you read a little bit more, because our answer is located at the bottom of page 15 and the top of page 16. So remember, when we ape something, we're going to give you an answer. Then we're going to support our answer with evidence or proof. We're going to prove we're right with evidence. And then we're going to explain. We need to explain our evidence. We can't just quote the text and then walk away. So remember, in our answer, we're using, I didn't mean to do that, sorry. In our answer, we're using the language of the question along with the answer we've discovered. So first, let's come up with our answer. What is the answer? What kinds of tools and weapons did the people make? This is a two-part answer, and how did they use them? So we need to come up with a list of tools they made and a list of uses, two different answers. So what kind of tools did they make? Let's answer this one first. Very good. They made, you should have had spears and arrowheads from page 16, and I want to make sure I get it exactly right, which is why I keep looking at the book. And you should also have the cutting tools to cut food, and those were called hand axes. So hand axes, spears, arrowheads should all be listed. Now, how do we write this as an answer? We need to use the words in the text, remember? So Paleolithic people made what kind? Instead of listing it right here, we can say many kinds of tools and weapons. But we haven't answered the second part of the question. How did they use them? So what was, let's think of a more academic phrase than how did they use them? Let's try the word purpose. So Paleolithic people made, instead of what kind, sorry, you say many kinds of tools and weapons with different, we could say with different uses if that helps you. So that would be what our answer looked like, or different purposes. Now I want to use it. So Paleolithic people made many kinds of tools that had various or different purposes. Or you could say, instead of various purposes, many uses, where you draw the words directly from the question to state your claim. Now we have to support this with evidence from the text. Remember, aping, we have to prove we're right. So you need to list many tools and many uses to prove that you are right. So the first was a hand axe, right? On page 15, don't forget, we always cite our sources. It states, I'm going to, instead of direct quotes, I'm going to paraphrase because we're trying to summarize in the end. And we know that in summary, we only state what's stated in the text, but we put it in our own words. So if I do that right now, it would be quite helpful. So on page 15, it states that Paleolithic, I can't spell, people created a hand axe to cut food. Really quickly, I'm going to pause because I'm going to switch over to a different format. I'm sorry, you guys. I wanted to be able to type directly on the inquiry journal because eventually when we get access to our curriculum, you'll be doing exactly this. But I also want you to see the entire answer. So because you're handwriting, I'm going to stick with this one. So we've answered our question and we have our P proof, right? No. We have to have multiple pieces of textual evidence. Remember, minimum 2. Also, we stated many kinds of tools that had many uses. And at this point, we have only listed one tool with one use. So we need to go to page 16 and finish our evidence. Did you find it? It's super easy. I don't want to use direct quotes. Again, remember, we're summarizing. So let's use it in our own words. So we have spears, arrows, spears, bow and arrows, and cutting tools, right? On page 16, it states, that the Paleolithic people also used, and you know what, let's do what they did in the book. Let's list the tools and the uses together. It says spears and bow and arrows to hunt, and remember, we're not copying directly, large animals. So now I have 2 pieces of evidence. I probably need more, maybe one other. Paleolithic people also developed tools for fishing and digging plants. Really quickly, digging up plants, digging up plants. Really quickly, if I go through and list all of the tools mentioned in the text, I'm literally going to end up copying the entire paragraph. So I want to make sure that I state at least 3 specific tools because I need, it's a good habit for 8th grade. Eventually, you're going to need at least 3 pieces of evidence. So it's a good habit. If there's a huge, huge list and you don't know which ones to pick, 3. So now let's go back and read what we have. Paleolithic people made many kinds of tools that had many uses. On page 15, it states that Paleolithic people created a hand axe to cut food. On page 16, it states that Paleolithic people also used spears and bow and arrows to hunt large animals. Paleolithic people also developed tools for fishing and digging up plants. Now, have we answered the entire question? Well, here in yellow, we have our answer. In green, we have our evidence. So I have 1, 2, I have multiple pieces of evidence, so I'm good for this. However, we have a small problem, and that is I don't see any explanation. So I need to explain my answer. So let's go back and look at the question, the original question. The original question was, what kinds of tools and weapons did Paleolithic people make, and how did they use them? So as I read all of my answers, I have the uses are to kill animals, to cut up food, to dig up plants, and to fish. All of those actions have something in common. What do those actions have in common? All of those actions are necessary for survival, right? Also, they're necessary to eat. And if we don't eat, we will starve, and that is not good. So, Paleolithic people, all of the tools that they developed were to help them with surviving, right? It made the jobs that they had to do in the Paleolithic era of hunting, food, gathering food, shelter, finding shelter because they used the hides to, and clothing, protection from the elements. They used the hides for the sides and walls and ceilings of their shelters eventually, and they also used them for clothing, right? So we can explain how these tools were very useful. How would we explain that? I'm giving you time to think. Go ahead and think about it. Good. So yeah, they helped them survive. So each of the tools developed by the Paleolithic people helped the group survive. That would be our explanation. I hope this was helpful because I want you to go through and answer all of the questions. Let me pull out my inquiry book. You're going to answer B, C, and D by yourself. And then at the end, it says, write a summary explaining how the Paleolithic people adapted. So just FYI, you've already done these, A, B, C, and D. That's your answer for letter E. You just put them together into one section, which means you're going to run out of space because all of that is going to fit on this tiny little area right here. It's going to be super hard. You might need a separate sheet of paper. Also, if you look at our time, we're already at almost 14 minutes. This is going to cut me off at 15, so I have to wrap it up. To answer this question took about 15 minutes. If each of these takes 15 minutes, this is going to take 2 school days. So you're going to do B right now because we've done A. And then on Friday, you're going to do C and D. Or if you are, A group is going to do it on Friday. B group is going to do it on Monday. I believe that's right. So you're going to do A and B on the day that this is posted, and then C and D on the following day. I hope this helps. Make sure you ape those answers. And remember, although this isn't getting graded every single day, at the end it's going to be part of the big grade. So make sure you do all of your work. Bye.